The first thing I would always say to that is that we're standing on the shoulders of giants. It's not a growth in that kind of understanding. It is a reckoning with the idea that we've spent around about 150, 200 years with one of the most ridiculous narratives being forced on us, propaganda narrative, that we are somehow exceptional, that humans should be allowed to do whatever they like, that just because we have language, we should be able to rob the natural world of all value and turn it into other things that suit us. That's a narrative that's been running for, in our kind of sense of our own lifetime. It seems like it's been running forever. But the reality, of course, is it hasn't at all. And we're standing on the shoulders of giants in the sense that the vast majority of humans that came before us knew that wasn't true and wouldn't work and would lead to ultimately our own downfall. I say then that there is a massive difference between commerce and capitalism. And even then, when you subdivide those two things and you understand the difference between commerce and capitalism, you can subdivide capitalism down further into different constituent parts. And the reality is that we are out of balance. The equilibrium has shifted within our lifetimes, and certainly, will continue to shift well into our children's and grandchildren's lifetimes. And I think the work that needs to be done is about addressing the imbalance there and unwinding some of the aspects of all of the aspects, should I say, of human exceptionalism. If you are a multi-species justice advocate, if you are an advocate for nature and nature law, you would say that justice is incomplete where nature is not represented, where particular aspects of nature are not represented in spaces which affect those parts of nature. So when you are dealing with the pollution in a river and you are meeting with stakeholders who pollute that river, you should have a voice of the river there. You should have a competent, confident voice of the river who understands the nuances of that river and the cost to all life in that river of that pollution incident or ongoing pollution. Having that voice in the room, having representation, having that procedural right to access that room, to speak, to have access to information and data, to be able to influence decisions, those are all procedural rights. And without them, that space of justice is incomplete. And possibly not just incomplete, but possibly grossly unfair and wrong and biased. So when we talk about justice being done and being seen to be done, I personally subscribe to the view that nature law must push nature representation in as many spaces as possible.